Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
When should you hire a business coach? Now, if you've been following this podcast for a while, you noticed that in episode number 38, I spoke about knowing the difference between a business coach and a consultant. And I had a few people reaching out to me saying, how am I going to know what time is the best time for me to bring in a coach within a business? Do I need to have created, some sort of, skin in the game or things of that nature? So in this episode, we're going to be talking about when you should actually hire a business coach and how to know if the time is right. Okay. And you would understand this right from the get-go that growing your business is a tough endeavor. You go from maybe cold calling potential clients and trying to having them hang up in your face, or you're sending out hundreds of emails every single day without even getting as much as, hey, thank you so much for reaching out, and you're probably wasting thousands of dollars on ad spend without even generating any qualified leads. And if you're a business owner, you might be wondering, when is the actual right time for me to hire a business coach? And if you're going at it by yourself, it actually feels like maybe nobody wants to buy what it is that you're selling. And if you are like any other coaches and consultants that I speak to, if you rely on your business to actually pay rent and put food on the table, man, this can actually put an enormous strain, on your emotions and the way you show up in the world. And, you actually get terrified of having to give up on your dreams if this is what it is that you are hoping to, utilize as a way to find freedom for yourself. So, obviously, if you're passionate about doing the work you're meant to be doing and living an inspired life, doing it, I would want to let you know that you've come to the right place. The Online Prosperity Experience podcast is where we help people like yourself, coaches and consultants, to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And my mission is just to help inspired coaches and consultants like you build a brand that you're proud of and actually create a lifestyle that you love. So back to the topic of the day. If you're a business owner, you might actually be wondering right now, when is the actual right time to hire a business coach? And, hiring a business coach can actually make strides, in your business. You literally can, do more, have more, and have more confidence in showing up in the world. Because, even in our culture in Africa, we've got a statement that says, if you want to go far, go alone. But if you want to go further, you go together. Because when you hire a business coach, you actually have somebody who either has a bit of knowledge and expertise as to where it is that you're supposed to be going, and they will actually be holding you accountable. Because right now, you might just be thinking maybe marketing is the only thing that you need to be looking after in your business. Let me tell you something. If you want to grow your business so that it competes with, the big players, you need to have a 360 view on just about everything else. And not everyone can actually stand out and say, I've got a 360 view on my business. As an entrepreneur, marketing is just maybe one aspect of running a successful business. You go from hiring and managing new staff, balancing books, driving growth, and a whole lot more. And it all feels like a constant balancing act where you're pulled in multiple different directions all at once. And all of this can be avoided if you've got other people that can actually help you see your blind sides, and, people that are experts in, whatever outcomes that you're after, which makes, or shortens the learning curve. You know what I mean? And after all, not everyone who starts in business is an expert when they get started. Even though we think we can do everything, that's not always the case. In many cases, when you actually hire the right coach or hire the right team, it will actually help you propel you forward in your business. So you need to figure out exactly where it is that you need to go, what it is that you need to achieve, and then find people that already have the systems, processes, and tools to help you, reach that destination. Because at the end of the day, your real goal is just to help your clients. You want to spend as much time as possible changing people's lives and solving people's problems, and you don't want to waste countless hours each day really trying to tinker with the whole world of running a business. Why don't you leave that to the experts? I understand as a coach, we want to be available, to every facet of our business, but it's actually holding us back because you can't climb the ladder of success with your hands full. So in many cases, hiring the right coach can actually help propel you forward in your business. And, with everything from improving your mindset, creating a clear strategy, and actually knowing exactly what actions to take and achieve your goals. If you are maybe going to be going on a journey and you spend half of the time, taking a wrong direction, guess what's going to happen? You've lost time, money, and the effort, and you actually are not doing yourself a favor. Instead of having paid somebody to show you exactly what the path should look like, and you would have actually saved yourself a world of pain. So how do you know then, if it's the right time for you to actually hire a business coach? And, what sort of signs should you be looking out for in your business so that you're not wasting so much time and effort, trying to tinker with things that, you are beyond your own expertise. So in this podcast, I'm going to be giving you 7 signs that actually show you that it's time to hire a coach. Okay. Number 1 is basically you probably are just getting started in your business. All right. So if you're not sure if it's a time to hire a business coach, or if you're not sure where to start, because look at this, even if you have prescribed your own working hours, you've created your own timetables and schedules, and you've defined who you want to be working with and things of that nature, half of the time you show up in your office and you don't even know where to start. That's a lot of wasted time. That's a lot of wasted effort. If you could just have somebody to show you exactly what buttons to push, what books to read, and things of that nature, that actually puts a shortcut towards your learning curve. So if you're just starting your business and you've never done this before, I advise that you actually hire a coach, because we're not born we're not born as leaders, or we're not born as entrepreneurs. You know what I mean? We weren't born learning how to start a business, and most people are not even taught that in school or in training either. Half of the time, we're actually coming from a job where somebody had to do all the thinking for us, somebody had to make all the decisions. So when it now comes to you becoming the business owner, there's a lot of decisions that you need to be making, and you need to make sure that you're making the right decisions so that you don't have a lot of false starts, and which will definitely put you head and shoulders above anybody else who's starting at the same time as you. So many times, the whole startup process can actually be much faster and easier if you hire a business coach. And it's a myth that you should wait until you make money before you hire. If a business coach can help you get your business off the ground even faster, it'll be actually a wise investment at the start of your business. So, sometimes when you notice, if you're going to be starting a business as a coach or consultant, there are not that many overheads. You're not going to be paying any rent. You're not going to be paying, any equipment or stationery that is required in other industries to start a business. So why don't you take some of that money in order for you to get started with a coach? When I got started, I actually had a student. I actually had a learning fund, okay, not a student fund. I had a learning fund that I put aside in order for me to actually propel. So all the books that I needed to read, I was buying from that learning fund, and all the coaching that I needed to get started on my GST, to get started on company registration and things of that nature. Even the whole business model that I now have was derived from having learned, in a course online that I undertook. So if you're not going to be taking any courses or having any money to buy books that will actually propel you in business, then you are actually going to be, pushing a rock uphill instead of actually having people that you can leverage that already know and understand what it is that you need to be doing. The one thing that also, stops a lot of people in their tracks is clarity. Most of us don't quite know who our target market is. Most of us haven't actually clarified our message, and we don't even know how to actually, go to market with certain products and services that we might have, in our mind. If we're not really clear about who we are and where we're headed to, we'll just be going around in circles. So clarity is so important when you're actually building your own business, and at every different level, we're faced with different needs, within the whole business spectrum. So much that if we've got people that can see our blind sides and things of that nature, we actually go a whole lot further. Can you imagine if you were driving and your car didn't have any side mirrors and it didn't even have a rear view mirror? Would you be able to function? Of course you wouldn't, because you're not focused on where it is that you're going. Your rear view mirrors actually help you understand what dangers or what other cars are coming behind you, and how you should participate as a fellow driver, on the road there. And your side mirrors will tell you whether you've got other people. If you want to merge in the road, your side mirrors will be telling you if there's other cars that are in your blind side. Yes, of course we do checks here and there, but we might not be able to see everything on the journey. So clarity is so important when you're actually building your own business. And still talking on the driving metaphor, have you actually noticed that the rear view mirror is quite smaller than the windshield, because you need to be seeing every corner ahead of you, every turn that you're going to be taking, and you don't need to focus on where you have been. So if you're struggling to find clarity, that's a big surefire sign that you need to be getting somebody to help you look at your blind side. So clarity is so important when you're building your own business. Even every single day when I'm about to, embark on this podcast, I actually use this podcast to snitch on my clients so that I can give them clarity as to what it is that they are doing wrong, and how they can actually, help themselves so that they're not wasting a lot of time, money, and effort doing things that are not going to help them. So this in and of itself is like the lighthouse. This podcast in and of itself is like the lighthouse for my clients and my prospects, or internet explorers like yourself, so that you do not have any false starts when you're getting started in your business. Because without clarity of purpose, without clarity of direction, without clarity of what you're supposed to be doing next, a lot of people, they're like a deer in headlights. You know what I mean? It's very hard to know what to do next. Yes, you might have the best equipment, you might have the best branding and things of that nature, but if you don't know what the next thing to do to enhance your business, then obviously, it will be, as good as you not even existing as a business owner. So if you work with a business coach, they can actually provide you with a neutral or unbiased perspective, as well as to reflect back to you what they're actually hearing in the marketplace, and actually help you connect the dots that you might have missed along the way. Because if you are the one who's looking at everything in front of you, at the end of the day, you can't see the whole picture if you're inside the frame. Okay, so a business coach will definitely be able to see you, help you see all the turns that are ahead of you, and will help you actually navigate the course of your business. And if you look at it as an investment in your business, imagine all the time the effort that you would save yourself, from actually, starting and creating a business that's actually profitable and enjoyable. One other thing that happens when a lot of people start business is we get overwhelmed. We actually get bombarded with all the media that's out there, all the strategies, all the tactics, everything else that needs to be happening in order for our business to function. We actually miss key parts, for our business foundation. Sometimes, you could have started your business based on just offering a free training, that you can just put together on YouTube, or you actually were learning from people that haven't actually gone through the exact same troubles that you're going through as a business owner, only to realize that maybe when you download a free ebook or you get a free training on YouTube, it's not complete. Okay, when people put stuff out for free online, they don't put complete freebies, are they? Otherwise, how else are they going to be able to charge for their services? All right, so maybe you downloaded a free ebook and you haven't actually defined your target client. You haven't even created a clear offer, and you don't even know how to communicate value as to what it is that you do. And this is quite an example of when you're just treading water. When you notice that you actually don't have all these fundamental pieces and key parts of your business, this is where you need to hire a business coach. All right. And one other sign that can actually show you that you now need a coach is maybe you've got all these key pieces, but you can't reach or actually convert your ideal target audience. And this is unfortunately not enough. It's unfortunately what a lot of people are going through right now. And it's not enough to just have, pieces of your marketing collateral all dotted around and they're not actually speaking together. Right today, the reason why I'm speaking about getting a business coach is I was on a call with a consultant who has, they've got all their courses, they've got all their training information, they've got 20 years of expertise, but they don't quite have the string that connects their products together so that they can actually have all that stuff happening in automation behind the scenes. And if somebody buys a product from them, there's no way to upsell them or to downsell them on some of the lower tier products that they have, and they're actually struggling to convert their ideal clients. So this is a common problem with a lot of people, and it's unfortunately not enough to be just good at what you do. The consultant I'm talking about has been in the game for 20 years, but people don't care what they care about what it is that you can do for them. All right, so you also need to have the marketing skills to be able to attract your ideal clients and to actually convert them into people that pay, stay, and refer. So if you're not attracting and converting clients, it's actually a time to hire a business or marketing coach that can actually support you. So this is something that we can absolutely help you. We'll work hands-on with you and help you develop a strategic plan, and then deep dive into finding exactly who your ideal client is. Because once you've got that clarity, it makes it super easy for you to actually get customers that pay, stay, and refer. One other thing that a lot of people have also is you keep having an upper limit problem. You see, one thing that happens when you're in business is it's not uncommon for the biggest blocks in business to also be internal limitations that you might have. Sometimes you might develop imposter syndrome, or sometimes you might develop perfectionism. Like right now, you can even tell I've got a cold and my voice is sounding a little bit wonky, but I'm not going to stop myself reaching out to you with this information just in case you might need help with your marketing or things of that nature. Okay, so other people would have been like, nah, I'm not feeling well, I'm not going to show up, on this podcast. But for me, I made a pledge that I'm supposed to be putting out content every single day. And you know what I mean? Who am I to, wallow in my own self-pity without me actually showing up for you today, and this could have been the podcast that actually makes the biggest difference in your life right now. So a lot of people suffer from imposter syndrome or perfectionism, and maybe a lot of self-doubt, which is actually holding them back from achieving their potential in business. If you've got a business coach, let me tell you what happens. They can actually call you out on any of those things. If I had a business coach and I was maybe complaining about my throat, they would have told me, hey, go out and do what you promised your audience. Okay, so if you work with a coach who is actually specialized and experienced in helping clients work with their internal blocks, he can actually be what you need to overcome a lot of mindset issues that actually inhibit a lot of people from continuing with their business. One thing that I just thought about while I was talking, about how I'm showing up on this podcast with a cold. Maybe you're actually tired of people giving you advice, but you seem not to be finding your own direction. That happens to a lot of people because you haven't quite figured out what it is that you need to be doing to show up in the world. Everybody seems to have an idea or a clue on how you should run your business, but it just doesn't seem like it's actually sitting well with you, because half of the time when you start your business, so many people want to give you advice, even your spouse, your auntie Sally, who knows somebody who tried to go into business by themselves and actually failed, or maybe your ex-boss who tells you that you're going to come back or you're going to fail or whatever it is. It could be from your family to your neighbor to maybe that expert on Instagram who doesn't seemingly, look like they know what they're doing themselves. The key is not to just listen to all this advice, but it's actually to tap into your own inner guidance system. All right. Each and every one of us have this GPS. We've got this inner guidance system that we need to actually start listening to. And this is how I usually do it. If anything feels right, go ahead and do it. If it feels kind of wrong, trust your gut. All right, because some people might just be saying things just so that they can sell you something at the end of it all. And you might be thinking, yeah, I've seen people like that. Yeah. And if you trusted your instinct and you didn't buy anything from them, because so many people out there are just coming up with all these washed up tactics and strategies, and they actually don't move the needle when you actually try them yourself. Why? Because they, the people that are selling those tactics and things of that nature didn't even try them themselves, or have only gone as far as creating content that they want to utilize to take advantage of those people that don't quite know what's going on in business. So you want to tap into your own inner guidance system so you can actually start choosing the actions that best align with you and your goals, and especially your values. These days a lot of people are just virtue signaling. You know what I mean? Just whatever the mainstream media is showing on TV, that's who they show up in the world. You need to be aware of who you are, in life, because if you don't stand for anything, you actually fall for whatever. So, your inner guidance system should be able to give you the direction that you need so you can best align with your goals, and what actually works best for you. So if you work with a coach who knows what they're doing, the right coach can actually help you tap into that and start understanding your inner guidance system so you can actually make decisions that are in your own best interest, not just following anything just because, somebody on TikTok might have just, bullied you into submission or things of that nature. And one other thing is, in life, you're gonna want all the support you need along some sort of life-changing journey that you're undertaking right now, which is in the form of starting a business. You will notice that the people that are around you, first of all, they will be supportive, but as the further you go in your journey, they might not quite know how to be there for you, and you start feeling like nobody's supporting you. But if you've got a business coach, they know what you're going through. They know when to celebrate with you. They know when to commiserate with you, and they know when it's time for a pity party or not a pity party, because half of the time the people around you, they don't want you getting hurt. It's like sometimes when I maybe having a bad day, or like today my wife was like, you know what, you're doing all right, why are you even getting dressed for work today? And I'm like, you have no idea. I really need to be there for all those internet explorers that creating a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Who am I to sit back and drink soup and eat whatever comfort foods, feeling sorry for myself? Instead, I should be out there in the world helping others be, do, and have a happier existence. You know what I mean? I actually get satisfaction knowing that whatever I've done today will actually put somebody in a better position to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. So it's quite rewarding for me. All right. So yes, I will have all the time to relax and try and get better and rest my voice and things of that nature. But I want to make sure that I'm living up to my values and delivering on my promise. So when you're starting a business, it's actually a personal growth journey in and of itself. And if you're not prepared for it, you will definitely buckle down and fall. Nobody's going to be giving you days off. All right, you're gonna have to look after yourself, look after your family, and everything else that comes along with it. And to make it through this journey, you're gonna need tenacity, you're gonna need strength, you're gonna need a lot of commitment, and having somebody by your side, especially a valued partner and a coach, can actually provide you with all the support and guidance and also accountability. Because I keep referring to my cold. If you are not accountable to anyone or accountable to the journey or to the process, you will never show up in days when you don't feel like it. And the secret to success is just showing up. I have a visceral belief that this podcast is actually going to be one of the biggest podcasts that we've ever done, because I showed up with the energy that I really want you to get this information. And if you're listening up until now, we are almost 26 minutes in there. I really value your support. I really appreciate you. And I just want to let you know that it's all up to you when you should hire a business coach. Sometimes you probably don't even need to, but if you would listen to everything that I've just said in this podcast, some scenarios might actually ring true for you, and it might actually be time to consider hiring a business coach, or even just pick whatever it is that you need somebody to help you with. There's always somebody who's written a book, who's done a podcast about it, or has done videos around it, or is offering programs and coaching services around each and every pain point that we might have in life. I've actually gotten to realize that it's actually being lazy if we don't succeed in business, because everything that we need is out there. There's books that have been written about sales. There's books that have been written about running successful businesses. There's books that have been written about managing new stuff. If you find yourself failing, if you find yourself being dragged to court, I think you're just being lazy. All right. And if any of the above scenarios that I just mentioned ring true to you, it actually might be time to consider hiring a coach. Let me tell you something: you cannot afford not to, because if you're running a business, you're taking on people's time, money, and effort, and you shouldn't take that lightly. All right. So whether you want support in your mindset, strategic support, marketing and sales, all support like this, if you find the right business coach, you will be head and shoulders above your competition. And this would actually be a wise investment that you can actually use to achieve your business goals or ambitions. So the first step in hiring the business coach is basically knowing what questions you need to ask. So if you check out episode number 38, I go through a few of the questions that you might need to ask so that you know that you're aligned with the coach that you're going to be working with. So if anything of this rings true, I invite you to come and have a chat with us. All right. We've got, marketing coaching available. We also have marketing mentorship available. And if you want to take advantage of all this stuff so that you are placing your business, in the right direction with all the clarity and everything else, I invite you to schedule a call with me, and so that we can see exactly where you are in your business. And once we're on the call, we'll definitely work hands-on with you so that we can develop a strategic plan and then deep dive and work through your ideal client clarity, and then also look at your strategic messaging, and also look at whatever consulting or coaching offers that you actually have. Because once you've got all this aligned, you'll be able to charge whatever you want. So we'll also look at your fees and pricing, and then design your business model around who you're becoming. So that also needs to be tweaked. And then pretty much after that, I'll help you set up your marketing engine and your lead generation system so that you can consistently attract ideal clients. Like I said, my mission is to help coaches and consultants. Yeah. Oh, I'm tired now. But thank you so much for listening. Build a brand, that you're actually proud of, and create a lifestyle that you absolutely love. I don't know what you're going to do with this information today, but, I believe I've touched on what it is that you can do in order to know exactly when to hire a business coach. Because I know personally that hiring a business coach can actually help you make strides forward in your business. And after all, we're all not, not everyone who starts a business is actually an expert in whatever it is that they're going to be doing. So do what you may with this information, but I can't wait to see you creating a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au